This is a short video to show how to use the input channel libraries on the Allen & Heath SQ5 desk. The channel libraries hold predetermined settings for named individuals, which should enable you to get to a quicker setup. Before we do that, just a reminder that of course you'll need to, at the beginning of the service, at the beginning of the setup, recall the speech scene. Make sure that your working speech scene is highlighted on the scene list, and press Store and Overwrite to make sure that you have your working scene set up as close to the original speech scene as possible. As you know, on the cue list, top of the cue list always tells you who the leader will be and who the preacher will be. In this case, the leader is Rick. So now we want to recall the library for Rick and make sure that that is recalled onto the leader channel. So to do this, we need to make sure that the leader channel is selected. We can do that either by pressing the select button, and you'll see the select light is on, or if we choose the PAFL button, that also includes the select. So we want to make sure that leader is selected, so we press that one, and now that's the correct channel has now been selected for processing. The next step is to press the processing button. Having pressed the processing button, this is the screen that you should normally see. Beware that if anybody has gone into any of the processing elements, either EQ or compression or gain, then the screen may look quite different. If we choose the EQ there, you can see the EQ screen, and if that comes up instead of that 8-channel display showing which one's selected, all you have to do is to find out which one of these icons on the left is highlighted in white. That's the one that you're currently on, and if you just tap that again, it will take you back to that screen. This is the screen that you need to be on in order to import the library settings. So having got onto this screen, first thing we do is to make sure that we're still talking about the leader. You can see the leader channel there is the one that's highlighted. So having made sure that we are on the right screen, the processing screen, which it actually says at the top there, we can now go ahead and look at the library. So we can press the library button here, and that brings us a list, in this case, of the input channel libraries. There are various libraries. Input channel is the one that we're interested in, and just ignore anything else. The input channel libraries, as with all libraries, are split into the factory preset ones and the user ones, which we have created here. So we need to use the user one, so we tap user, and then you see a list of all the libraries that have so far been created. This list will almost certainly grow as we are able to save more. As you can see, the list is organized by types, so we have library entries for different flute players, different guitarists, different pianists, and if we use the rotary on the side here, we can scroll through that list. So having selected one first, we can scroll through the list. We then have libraries for the singers, and WM at the bottom is the libraries for the wireless mics. You can either scroll through the list by using this rotary control, or you can simply scroll down with your finger and choose whichever one you want. In this case, we noted at the beginning that Rick is going to be leading, so we want to call the library for Rick. All we have to do now is press recall, and those library settings are now stored within the leader channel. Okay, so why are we doing this? The input channel libraries contain all the processing required for a complete channel. That is the gain, compression, EQ, gate. I think that's about it. So in recalling that input channel library, all of those settings should be set pretty close to what you're going to need for that particular service. Of course, they won't always be perfect. There will be changes, maybe in the position of a mic or the volume on the keyboard or whatever it might be. And you may still need to make some adjustments, but starting with a library gives you a very good start. To complete the speech scene setup, you'll obviously need to do this for the preacher channel as well. So just repeat the whole process for the preacher channel and all should be well. Of course, what you then need to do, having got those libraries set, is to store that scene again. So we go back to scenes, make sure the working speech scene is selected and choose store. Setting up the speech scene and importing the libraries for the wireless mics can obviously be done before anything else happens, because you know who is going to be leading and who's going to be preaching. Slightly different when it comes to vocalists and guitarists, because you may not know until they actually arrive who's going to be singing and playing. But when you do, you follow exactly the same process, but you look for the Vox entries in the list or whatever it is you need. Do all this, of course, after you've recorded the basic music scene, the master one, and store that as your working copy of the music